Well, good morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Because I sure as hell ain't. Emotionally screwed up and sleep deprived, or is that emotionally deprived and sleep screwed up? Yeah, that about sounds it. 1:34 in the morning, West Coast time. It is August 1st, 2024, and it is the Thursday. Wow, here we are. So that makes me the zombie of Roseman, California, I think. Morning, guys. Yeah, I'm not alive yet. You know that. This early in the morning, I'm griping and grumbling about life and everything else in the universe. Speaking of which, caught a. I'm trying to get things loaded up here. My computers are slow as I am this morning. I feel it too. So do they. Caught wind of a Zoom meeting. I had to do recordings of it last night just to see what was going on. Certain areas I try to keep an eye on. May not be much for other people, but for me, it's something that keeps my attention. And when I happen to notice part of the Southern California coast about to be eroded in the history, sometimes I have to find out, okay, natural or what's going on. Especially if we're talking about Rancho Palos Verdes. I mean, a long time ago, memory serves, there used to be a marine land in that coastline area before they had it developed into housing over the past between 40 and 50 years. And in areas like that, they have people living in certain areas, but a marine park that would teach people about marine environment at the time what they had, and also do shows to entertain people left and right. I always wanted to go because I kept seeing how wonderful it was, but I never had a chance to see it. I'd seen SeaWorld about once or twice in my lifetime, but to see Marineland when it was operational, close to home, we didn't have time. We didn't have the money either. That kind of sucked. That would have been fun for Dave, Ma, and me to go over there. But we didn't. It kind of sucked. And they shut down operations and got rid of the life forms. I think San Diego took bulk of it, and other places got the other one too. What the hell are we doing now? Oh no, we're not playing that damn hand game. Thank you. Yeah, my computer's having issues just like its owner. So when they started setting up, um, when they set up communities out there on the peninsula, nobody suspected during that time that there was going to be any geologic activity. The knowledge of geology increases every time there's events happening. There's always events happening, and also when we have to look at things that matter a damn to us. We didn't think during that time, at least I hadn't heard any stories about it, of coastal erosion. Didn't hear anything about landslides happening. I was too damn young to know. I was too damn much of a kid. But if there was going to be any landslides, they'd make it some kind of news story a little bit on the local newses and local media outlets. And geology was still, it was still relatively a new science. I mean, science is an evolving tool to figure out our life on Earth, one way or another. I don't suppose the ancient Greeks, when they actually had like Library of Alexandria, had anything concerning about rock formations or soil erosion. Or how about if there was a water table underneath a community, whether or not it was ready to go into the water or not? And then we've had our weather changes happening, El Nino, La Nina. Uh, Two different names we call different atmospheric changes happening that would either bring us rain or bring us lots of heat, or sometimes both. But would screw up the water temperature all throughout. Either prevent storms or increasing storms. I'm still waiting for my main laptop to work so I can get some information for you. Get some definitions going on. I always like to look at my main laptop for that information. Do Google searches if I have to. Anyway, but there was no major news stories, no major rushes to get the information out there saying, "Well, boys and girls, your area over here is in danger. Don't you know that?" We didn't think about that at the time. Hell, we didn't even think about the coastal erosion concerning about you know how we're doing transportation up and down a road, a main road, a pipeline of sorts, Pacific Coast Highway going up and down California's coast and a little beyond that, or even the railway system buckling at times because the ground was giving way. See, there was no evidence about that during those days. We have heavy we have heavy interstate traffic going on. PCH. We've had it for decades. We've had pavement after pavement after repaving after repaving. If there was going to be any minor soil creep or if there was going to be any kind of shaking going on, okay, slap the concrete bandage on it and let's see what happens. Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then we discovered it wasn't fine. Did we have good information what was going on? No, but the information was new, and we put that away in our file cabinets, either in our head or in our computers to keep track of stuff. Computers get more and more, so now we're trying to figure things out left and right, and wondering whether or not if we actually made mistakes or not. And in science, we make mistakes. We learn things. We learn things in science. It's not a perfected tool. It's always a constant learning curve when it comes down for things around us. Certain things are absolute laws, and others are all just getting rewritten left and right because new discoveries would prove this is wrong or that wrong. People think science is supposed to be perfect. No, science is adaptive. It's overcoming. It's growing like our knowledge base. We did not know when we put up housing up in Rancho, Palos Verdes, that with enough movement on top of the earth, with enough heavyweight on it, with enough uh, activity on it, we didn't think, and even with a lot of water going into the water table, that housing would be falling off into the oceans or landmarks we put up there because it's so pretty to look at here. So we put a landmark chapel, and we get to have uh, events that deals with scenery. And yes, photography is wonderful. Did we ever think during those days that maybe it wasn't structurally supported? Actually, was there anything wrong with it? No, we didn't have any indication. If there was an indication, then we'd try to be curious about it and tear things apart and see what the hell goes on. But when you have large communities being affected by this, see, this is the thing that's piquing my scientific curiosity over here. See, we didn't know anything about it back then, and people are saying, "Well, we did this a long time ago. How come we didn't know it back then? We didn't. Now we do. So what do we do? That's a good question, isn't it? But we lived here for 40 or 50 years. We can't get another home. Yes, I know that. And you have emotional ties to the place. I know. I heard. So what do we do? Trial and error. That's one thing about science. It's trial and error. What works one way, another way doesn't work. Well, we have to find out which one works. It's not just flipping a coin and guessing at the damn thing. It's all by experimentation, but sometimes we don't have the choice or necessity to do it. We have to get it done in one shot sometimes. It's how our emotions are running at this point. But after saying that, and we see the absolute need for it, we have to make sure. And there's going to be arguments about this one left and right. Power companies and utility companies are stretching themselves thin on this one. They don't want to cause any harm to the customers, don't want to cause any harm to the employees, but there is a safety factor here that uh, busted water lines and power pole issues, and then there's gas. They'll all be brought up, fine. But if they're being stretched and bent like crazy, because the earth movement is shifting those pipes around and shifting the infrastructure around, that's an issue. But they also have the safety issue of people living in these homes that are becoming untenable. Of course, they can blame, but it doesn't solve the damn shit. There's moisture in the ground and shifting the sand around like crazy. And yes, they had canyons that were supposed to be moving the liquid down to the ocean so they can be drained off. And some people just other communities have their own uh, I don't know, have their own things going on that are interfering with maybe one or two other communities are experiencing the damn landslide. So yes, there's got to be some kind of discussion about it, but let's not have a hearing about it next week about the damn thing. We need to find out what they're going to be doing about it now. Because here's the thing, concerning about geology, sometimes you think it's a slow creep, but other times it's a fast-moving bastard. And especially when we're talking about soil degradation, we're also talking about a lot of weight on material that's slowly shifting. And it'll turn out to be very quickly, and then everything else slips sliding away real quickly. Seeing too many images, too many videos, and after effects. What you think is stable enough rock slide or stable enough landscape. You don't know whether or not that thing is going to be moving or not. They always had problems concerning about mudslides while we have rainstorms. When the soil is oversaturated, can't hold anything. Yes, there is going to be soil movement. Well, we're talking about a large community on top of a cliff, basically. I wanted to try to talk to you about this one. I was just having a night last night over this stuff. So, shall we go to Google Maps, guys? Let's go to Google Maps. As soon as my computer starts working here, I'll get into Google Maps. Uh, yeah, restore the pages, why don't you? I could use, holy crap. Oh, some stuff. Hey, I got stuff I need. Yay. Okay, so I can deal with that. Yeah, I'll deal with that. Okay, that's cool. Alright, where's my maps? That one closed. I don't need Spectrum just yet. I'll watch television some other time. And I'll get the maps up here. There's the Zoom call. That's already done. But there's got to be some kind of record of it somewhere. Okay, the Zoom call that happened last night was with the city of Rancho Vista, Palos Verdes, actually. And the city managers, and other utilities were represented, trying to give the audience enough information, hopefully not to have a panic attack of what the next option is going to be at that point. And trust me, they still had questions about what the options were going to be. They still they still were terrified about it. They still were terrified about it. I would. I would have. If I had a home that was going to be in an area where it's going to be overlooking the ocean, and there had been reports of potential landslides if the grounds were sloping too much, if there was cracking in the superstructures, and not to mention cracking on the ground where the roads are getting moved to left and right when they shouldn't have been. Yeah, I have a little bit of an issue over that one. Just a major issue turning out to be, I think a little bit more than that. I think I would. A long time ago, I thought geology wasn't fun. I thought geology was scary after having earthquakes left and right. When I started taking classes over at college a long time ago when I got out of high school, I didn't. My mind wasn't set. It was just an easy class to get through, right? Learn about rocks. What else is new? A lot more than what I took for granted. A lot more. I mean, hell, learning things from a field geologist, that's cool. But then again, you've also had laboratory geologists to learn about chemical compositions and stuff. That's why, for me, I should have learned more about geology back then as a kid, but I didn't have my interest up during that time. I thought I was just taking an easy class to get through. Yeah, boy, was I mistaken. Astronomy was even worse. Meteorology was even worse. Did math. And during those days, I had an issue regarding that one. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Google Maps is up. Okay, I know it's a long video for me blathering up my head up here, but this morning, I'm a blathering. No, I haven't lost my mind. I lost it a long time ago. I can make a joke about it, but there are certain other things in a different video I'll probably mention about. This is concerning about geology at work, scaring the crap out of people, and I wish I had good things to say about, but not quite really. I don't, because right now, uh, yeah, I'm concerned about a neighborhood and about how it looks. So, boys and girls, can we go to Google Maps, please? Okay. In the search engine, can you please put in Rancho Palos Verdes? Palos. And then the other word is Verdes. V as in Victor, Erdes. The first word was Rancho, Rancho. Okay. And it's supposed to be California. So you got the image. Kind of widen up the shot so you can see the port of Los Angeles on your right hand side. But you see this knob with protrusions all along the coastline. And this is the area that seems to be having the issue regarding slopes. I'm just overwhelmed on this one because 40 to 50 years ago we had an amusement park, and they left, and then the communities rose up. Rolling Hills Estate, Palos Verdes Estate, Rancho Palos Verdes. Little communities here and there. You'd think maybe that they would heard about soil creep or anything else like that. No, because there wasn't that much activity, but get closer to the coastline, get closer to the edge, and how the composition of the soil is and the rocks. Geology sometimes is a balanced act, I've discovered. You screw up something in the damn rocks one way or another without even realizing it, without any stability, and then issues galore on that one. I'm going to scroll a little bit closer to just a little bit, just Trying to get the whole picture of the peninsula there. I'm trying to look at the layers of this thing just under a satellite. I can see the deep caverns or crevices, all scraggly. It's like somebody just got a back scratcher and started scratching the whole place up. Then some of those canyons are actually water pits and traps and areas to maneuver water downwards. A natural thing for geology. Water will tend to find a way to get down, follows gravity. And if you're curious about that thing, take a look at the cliffs when you drive through the area. I mean, if you're a native of California and you live along the coastline area, you can see all the breathtaking views we have and how people like the area because they like the scenic. And they keep forgetting that sometimes in geology times it'll be quick or just be slow moving, but landscapes will change over time. And they will, either by man's actions or by nature slowly doing its job by changing landscapes, as it always been doing for millions of years. This is no exception, except we made it into an exception by putting a lot of housing over there because the view was pretty. But do we have a problem with that one? And especially when we put a lot of weight on the ground, a lot of houses, a lot of traffic going through in there. I'm wondering how come the landscape wasn't changed a long time ago. But uh, older it gets, more pressure, pressure and time. That's one thing about geology, pressure and time. You can turn a piece of coal into a diamond with pressure and time. With artificial means, we can increase the whole thing. With artificial means, we can also destroy a peninsula. I can see it, and I'm wondering sometimes, did we see this coming? With the water underneath, they call it artesian wells. They're water traps, basically. And they either hinder or aid ground movement. Sometimes we go into the artesian wells and get filtration in there so we can dig up well water. Well, what if that water isn't usable enough? Okay, fine. Filter out the whole rocks and the minerals out of that one by using rocks and other minerals. You're talking about a whole community here. And would the artesian wells work? They call it hydrography. There's a word on that one. There's a word on it. Hang on. Okay, hydroggers. Hydroggers. Let's get information about this one, shall we? On web.mist.edu. This is a PDF file I just pulled up on. MIST being MST. There's no I in it. I pulled up a PDF file just to see what the lecture was from this. It's probably Massachusetts State University or something like that. I'll find out about it. All right. All right, there is a PDF file out there that will tell people in general and scientific terminology what hydroggers are. And it's basically drainage system. Much like we use a biological drainage system when it comes down for boil and cysts. I know it's a gross analogy here, but hear me out on this one. When you have a boil on you, and you probably have it on your back or neck, and you got pressure and buildup, and then one way or another it gets relieved, gross wise. But after that, after the stuff is drained out, you still leave a lot of stuff to be coming out. There has to be a bit of drainage. There has to be drainage tubes on that one. Or how about if you got fluid in your middle ear that has to be drained? ENT specialist would install a tube to drain out liquid to relieve fluid pressure in your ear. Make your balance act and feel a lot better so you can actually function. Well, think of it this way. The earth has to have fluid sometimes drained because we want to stabilize a hillside to keep a community alive. We want to keep a community there. We want no discontinuity happening with the village. So we have to do anything and everything we can to save it. Therefore, we have to install tubes, drainage tubes. And we install it. We have to find out where the level of liquid is, and then find a way to get the liquid poured out, so the ground can stabilize without slip sliding all the way. All the way. There are minerals out there. I've been trying to find the minerals, what they have in the Rancho area, of what specific are we looking for here. They talked about bentonite clay. So much as I understand about the clays out there, sometimes they're either adhesives or they're also lubricants of sorts. Now, I know if you had certain minerals out there so fine that they act as rolling pins. You ever had a set of rolling pins in a row? You're on a conveyor. The heavy stuff's on top of a flat surface rolling with the rolling pins. So you're able to move the item. In essence, that's how it is with rocks, especially when we're dealing with rocks getting close to the water. Some of them are actually moving towards it because the liquid and pressure and time is moving the landscape. If it is caused by humans, then we have to be aware of that. If it's caused by nature, maybe there's a way to overcome it somehow. But we have scientists, we have structural engineers, we have geologists are working on problems like that. They've been trying to fix even the San Clemente run, the Amtrak, and Pacific Highway. I've heard throughout the years and recent months that they were still trying to get that stabilized enough where we can have commercial traffic all over again and people going up and down the place. Because Pacific Coast Highway is an incredible view to see the landscape. But we artificially did this a long time ago when we were working on California. See, there was a lot of things that we artificially did to create environments that are now coming back to haunt our ass. Stage, let's talk about it in the next video, shall we?